Hello, this is George Thompson again, talking about investing in single-family rental houses and small apartment complexes. Today I'm going to talk about a very interesting topic and one that you may have heard of before. It's called the 1% rule. By the way, if you like this video, hit the like button at any time. Thank you very much. The 1% rule has been around forever. I used it when I first started back in the early 70s, and it worked great for me. Now, it has some deficiencies, and I'm going to talk about those in this video. All real estate investors need a good yet simple way to quickly evaluate properties. We don't have time as investors to spend 4 to 8 hours studying each property we find is for sale. We need a quick way to eliminate most of them, because most of them, quite frankly, won't work. The 1% rule is perfect for that. You can quickly eliminate the ones that are clearly overpriced in your area. So what is the 1% rule? It's very simple. You take the purchase price of the property, multiply by 1%, and that's the rent you should receive, the minimum rent. For example, you find a house for sale for $200,000. It should rent for at least $2,000 a month. That's 1%. If it rents for $1,500, pass on it. It's overpriced. Now, purchase price is not just the cost of the property. You also have to factor in whatever repairs, maintenance, and upgrades you need to do immediately in order to receive the rent you want to receive. For example, if the top rent in that area is $2,000 a month, you can't have a kitchen that looks like it came out of the 1940s. It has to be a modern, up-to-date kitchen. As I alluded to earlier, the 1% rule is a good rule out, R-U-L-E-O-U-T, rule out guideline. When you are beginning a real estate investor, you're very wise if you automatically rule out any property that doesn't produce a 1% rental income. It's just an excellent pre-screening tool to get started. The 1% rule works best with small properties, single-family houses, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. Bigger apartment complexes usually produce far more income that the 1% rule won't apply. Now let's talk about other instances where this rule will not work. First of all, you'll find in big cities, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and many other big metropolitan areas, it won't work. The property values are simply too high, and the rents are not high enough to give you a 1% return. For example, in my area, in the Portland, Oregon area, I see many of the properties that you won't even get 1/2 of 1%, which is a loser in my opinion. The other area that doesn't work is what I call slow, no-growth communities. These are often small towns, rural areas, or there are also a lot of the areas that are economically depressed. Think Rust Belt cities. You remember what happened in Detroit about 15 years ago when so many of the auto manufacturers left town? That was a very depressed economy. Yes, it was a big city, all right, but it was not growing. And the problem was you could easily get 1% on your rental income. You could often get 2% or more. The problem was finding good tenants. There simply wasn't enough good tenants around. Now let's talk about why is the 1% rule so useful? Well, it's very simple. There's 2 major reasons to buy real estate. Number 1 is rental income every month. Number 2 is the potential for appreciation of property values. The most solid of those is the rental income. The rental income is going to come and come and come. You won't have a problem with it as long as you're in a good community. When I say good, it has to be stable, preferably growing, but it can't be a depressed area. It can't be a real small town. The second primary method of making money in real estate often produces most of your gain over a period of 10 years is the appreciation of the property value itself. The problem with that is you don't know if that's going to happen or not. You can speculate it will based on past history of that particular community or city, but there's no guarantees. For example, Portland, Oregon has been a very good area to invest in for many, many years. But if you bought properties here in 2006, you would have been underwater for about 7 or 8 years at a minimum. In other words, if you'd sold that property, you would have lost money. So appreciation is a tricky thing. Yes, you need it. We all need it. That's why we invest in real estate. But the more solid, consistent income is the rental income. So that's the 1% rule. Very simple. You take the purchase price plus repairs that you have to do immediately to get it rented, multiply it by 1%, and that's the minimum rent you should accept. The problem is, in a lot of communities, it doesn't work. The gross rent multiplier, in my opinion, is a better method. But I still use the 1% rule, but I always use the gross rent multiplier. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Also, feel free to subscribe. I come out with a new video every Tuesday. Thank you.